there is a machine learning. It's all about there is dealing with that there is a data. Then there comes with that there is a security and then privacy issue also. So we'll all discuss about there is a these things. So in these there is a presentations. So moving there is a towards right. I will there is to tell you some the recent there is experience that I had. Right in there is a hospital. Just there is a few months there is a back. So my mother admitted in there is a hospital in a critical. There is a stage. There is a sepsis. There is a stage actually. So one of the there is a kidney. There is was there is went to do there is a failure. There is a stage. So I mean there is a this hospitals right being there is a engineering right. There is a background, so we don't know there is a what's happening inside, right? And they are taking there is multiple there is a reports, right? So in every hour they come up with different there is a scanning and a different there is a test reports there is a coming up, but we don't know what the report there is a says, right? So as a layman, right? As a layman, we don't know. We have to completely depend on the there is a doctor's there is a voice one. So whatever the doctor says, so we have to there is obey with it, right? So those times, right? Actually, kind of there is a AI, there is help a lot. So kind of there is a transformer model, the chat GPT, right? I use the chat GPT. So on that time, we use the chat GPT right for everywhere. So typically for asking there is a questions, for asking a data for everywhere, right? So I used the chat GPT. I simply captured the report in my there is a mobile, and then I just uploaded in the chat GPT and I just asked, right? So what it indicates, right? And it gives there is a very good there is a recommendations, and also give the detailed there is a content. So kind of there is a layman, right? So how you understand these reports and what it says, right? That there is uh, right the detailed explanations helped me a lot, and I could be able to ask the questions to that there is a doctor in a there is a correct way, because typically, right, if you go to the doctor and ask you some questions, right, they will simply put in more. There is a technical, there is a word, right? So, like there is engineer, right? How we there is a talk to other, there is engineer, right? Similarly, right, the physicians, doctors, right? They put it in a more there is a technical way, and definitely we cannot understand, sir, what they say about, right? It's and we have to there is a completely blindly, right, obey with them, right? But with the help of these kind of there is a reports, I can write defend, and then I can ask there is a right questions to them, and I can extract there is a correct answers that is from them. Even right, we can get there is a clarity of what the treatment is that is currently going on, right? Because if you don't know about right how what is a there is a treatment is going on, right? So we know about the current there is a hospitals and healthcare, that the hospital networks, insurance, right? How this network is there is a uh, doing the lobby, right? In taking the money from the people. So we are you may be a rich person, but you are not about don't have idea about what kind of there is a diagnosis is going on, or what kind of there is a treatment is going on, right? So then you will be completely tempered by there is a medicine people, and then you will lose there is a lot of money. So the simple there is a chat GPT just uploading and then getting the answers and then getting explanations from the reports. So I'm that is totally there is a convenience. So that's the way, right? The healthcare. So as a kind of there is a patient level, even the patient, the caretaker, other there is a people can able to get that there is a very clarity idea about the diagnosis as well as there is the report. That's a kind of example I want to just give. So before going to the presentation. So this is what about there is AI in healthcare. So we know about right. AI is a simulation of human intelligent process by machines, especially computer system, enabling them to perform a task like learning, reasoning, and problem solving. So it's not about it learn, right? It's the system learn by the way we give the data. So it's not about the data that you feed into the systems from the human. It also learn from its there is a surrounding, from the devices, from the sensors, and also from the social media network, right? Any kind of structured, unstructured, semi-structured data, right? So the AI systems will take and try to read this there is a data, and it will learn. Like there is a child, how we learn, right? So similarly, the AI, the systems also will take up this data and it's learn, and it's not only the learning, right? It's also like a human, right? It will reason, right? It will pose the questions and it will try to there is a solve the problems which are there is a new, right? So with the existing there is a data, so we can able to solve the there is a future problems also. But when the new problem comes, which means that when the new data comes, I can able to distinguish what kind of data it is. I can label the data, I can classify the data, right? So that's the way, right, the artificial intelligence works. It's about from the past and the historical data, I can able to predict the future. So it can be applicable to so any systems. Not only there is healthcare, right? You can predict the maybe the rainfall, you can predict the weather, right? You can predict the what do you call the soil disease, right? So anything you can able to there is a predict with the historical as well as the current there is a data given to the systems. And of course, right, if you AI leverages this machine learning and deep learning algorithms to analyze the massive data sets, right? So, for example, right, if a patient admitted in a hospital, right, for a surgery or something, right? So eventually there are more electronic health records. So there are reports, prescriptions given by the doctor, and there are reports generated by the physicians, and there are reports generated by the machines, right? We have various, there is a scanning, there is a machines, right? So all those x-rays and then right MMR that is scanned, right? So all sort of there is a scanning reports are also part of the report. So all these records will be part of your electronic health records. I'm only talking about the health records, and also there are other there is data as well, right? So how much the payment you have done, and when did you admitted into the hospital, when did you discharge to the hospital, and what are the previous there is a history, right? All your medical history, right? And the similar there is a patient history. So all those informations will be the part of your massive there is a data sets. So these data sets will be used to improve the outcomes as well as the efficiency of the patients of the disease as well. So when admitted in there is a futures. So AI does not replace the clinicians. Just definitely they'll be there, right? So because they knew the better the patients there is a history, and they can they cure there is a people well, but it acts as a powerful assistance to augment the human capability. So we have the robotic, there is a surgery now coming in place, and we have more kind of with the help of EHR, electronic health reports, and AI-based recommendation systems. You can able to validate so what there is going on, and you can able to uh, take decisions very quickly. That is very important when it comes to in the medical there is environment, because uh, now there is a typical hospital environment, right? We have come up with a more kind of there is a specialization, right? And but as a human body, right, it is actually interleaved with other systems as well, right? So there is something wrong with one systems, maybe a blood system. So there is something the reason because of some sort of there is a nervous system or a bone, or maybe there is brain system or something. So we have to really this kind of there is a consequence, right? What is something wrong with the some other or there is a systems, and how to relate and come up with the decisions, right? So all the right the specialist there is a doctors. So being that there is a specialist people, right? Then it is now very difficult to come up with there is a quick decisions, right? Because the diagnosis the doctors also hesitating to take the decision now. So what we can do is about, right? You have to give some sort of AI-based recommendation system that will help there is a people to give the exact there is recommendations to this kind of there is a people. So there are key AI technologies like machine learning, deep learning, and natural language processing, and robotics, right? So again, this as part of this AI, artificial intelligence, right? Machine learning is a subset of, right, uh, uh, artificial intelligence, and deep learning is a subset of there is a machine learning, and NLP is also it's a kind of there is a branch of your there is AI based systems, which is mainly used to deal with there is a languages. So you can imagine, right? So the doctor descriptions, it is written in a natural, there is a language, right? How you can able to understand this kind of, there is a language, right? Even you can understand the English, but it is highly difficult to understand the right doctor prescriptions, right? Only the there is medical representatives or the medical, right? The shop, the people only know, right? Those kind of, there is a tricks how you understand this kind of, there is a shortcuts, right? But by giving there is a proper, there is a training, even the systems can able to understand, because that is also part of the electronic, there is health records. It's not only the what do you call the printed, that is saved, there is electronic health records, right? That is come up out of your, there is systems. So there are prescriptions written by the, there is a doctors also. So how you able to understand these kind of, how you pre-process, right? Those kind of, there is prescriptions, because that is also part of EHR, there is a reports, for which, right, we require some sort of NLP, there is a technique. So NLP techniques enables computer to understand process human language, right? Analyzing the clinical notes written by the physicians as well as the doctors. And robotics, right? AI-powered robotic system for surgical assistance. Now we call about the precisions, right? How precisely, right, you have to make, and there is no operations. So you can't put there is a very big, there is a hole in there is a human body, right? So the people will be, there is asking, right? So for making there is simple, there is a surgery, right? So we have to make it more, right? There is invasive, there is a surgery, right? You have to make a more, there is a precision, there is a surgery. So for those kind of endoscopic, there is a surgeries. Robotics will be there. That is the right choice. But we need to again how the robotics, right, will be, there is a trained. It has to be trained with there is a lot of, there is a data there, right? How this training data comes again from the electronic, there is health records. So I will play some one video.
This is the corporate language translator. So when you
Can you able to
artificial intelligence,
can you able to listen this video?
or AI is taking the world by storm, and its impact will be felt in all corners of society.
Hello, can you able to listen this video?
Yeah, Lisbon, sir. We can Lisbon.
Oh, okay.
Including medicine. Here are 4 ways AI is transforming the medical field. Dr. Jubal, medicalinsiders.com. The first way AI is changing medicine is by assisting with diagnosing and treating patients. Misdiagnosing a disease happens relatively infrequently, but it can occur due to factors such as physician fatigue, errors in diagnostic modalities, or limited resources in underprivileged areas. While the idea of AI taking over disease diagnosis may sound alarming, we should view it as a supportive tool for physicians. For example, the convolutional neural network, or CNN, is a diagnostic modality that can analyze thousands of images from public datasets and patient medical records to identify patterns, enabling them to quickly and accurately diagnose diseases. Researchers CNNs to diagnose Kawasaki disease, or KD, an inflammatory disease of the blood vessels in children that can prove fatal if left untreated. A diagnostic hurdle with KD is that symptoms are usually vague and can overlap with other childhood illnesses. To reduce the rate of misdiagnosis, researchers compiled images from KD patients from all over the world, building a CNN that can identify its common signs. The CNN proved both sensitive and specific for diagnosing Kawasaki disease, making diagnosis possible by merely taking a photo with a smartphone. Of course, clinical judgment currently remains irreplaceable, and physicians should still rely on a thorough history, physical exam, and the relevant labs for imaging. These CNNs can help guide physicians in the right direction, especially in resource-restricted locales where it can be expensive for patients to do more thorough testing. Preliminary efforts have also demonstrated AI can aid clinicians in diagnosing colorectal cancer, lung cancer, liver cirrhosis, and many more diseases. In one study, board-certified pathologists diagnosed colorectal cancer with 96.9% accuracy, and AI slightly outperformed them, reaching an accurate diagnosis 98% of the time. However, doctors shouldn't forget about the limitations of AI in diagnosing disease. Biases can exist in any of the datasets, which can influence the way AI interprets the diagnosis. For example, if a dataset is mostly made up of older patients, AI might not be able to accurately interpret findings for a younger age group. After diagnosis, AI can also aid physicians in treatment, particularly in the era of personalized medicine. Personalized medicine is a form of medicine that uses information about a person's genetics to prevent, diagnose, or treat disease. One specific example of this is rheumatoid arthritis, an autoimmune disease where the body attacks itself, especially in joints like the wrist and finger joints. Since rheumatoid arthritis is such a complex and chronic disease, there are a variety of medications used to treat patients, and treatment often depends on what each patient best responds to. Researchers at Mayo Clinic use genetic data and patients' clinical characteristics to develop a machine learning algorithm to predict patient response to methotrexate, one of the most important rheumatoid arthritis drugs. Instead of having both doctors and patients wait months to determine the efficacy of a certain drug, these models can direct both doctors and patients toward more effective treatments immediately, saving the patient both time and money. Similarly, researchers at the Georgia Institute of Technology and Ovarian Cancer Institute utilized machine learning algorithms to determine treatment effectiveness with 90% accuracy for certain chemotherapies in ovarian cancer patients. Utilizing AI to predict a patient's response to chemotherapy can save valuable time and spare patients from the destructive physical side effects, emotional burden, and costs associated with weeks of treatment that may prove ineffective. Beyond diagnosis and treatment, AI has powerful potential in predicting the.
Okay, so I stop here. So I'll come back and then both, right? What are the core applications? There is an area in which AI is used in this healthcare domain. So it's not about only diagnosis, but also for treatment as well as personalized. There is a treatment. So there is something called there is a personalized. There is a treatment because each and every individual's the human body, the disease, right? Everything is something like an there is a unique. So how you kind of way you diagnose the patients in a personalized there is a way. So how you cure, how the nutrition's the food as well as the treatment is given. So how we make it as more customized way. That's about there is a personalization. Also operational efficiency of the hospital, there is a workflow itself. Because the hospital there is a workflow. So deal with more number of EHR records, electronic health records. There are more insurance, there is a policies, and there are more workflow, more stakeholders actually, right? We have when we say there is a doctors, and there is a physicians, and there are nurses, and there are other radiotherapists, as well as the patients, and the banking, the insurance. So all will be the part of the resist systems. And here the decision should be very, very quick. Like if you delay the decisions, so that may lead to the death of there is a patient as well. So that's why, right, we have to make it as a decision very, very quickly. And you should also take the recommendations as well as advice from the fellow doctors as well. So the machine learning, there is a systems, AI based, there is a systems, right? That's the way that's the new uh, healthcare domain goes. For example, right? So enhanced, there is a diagnosis, the first core application area, the enhanced diagnosis and screening. So AI algorithm analyze all sort of X-ray, CT scans, MRIs, and the mammogram. So all sort of there is a scanning reports and make it very faster, the greater consistency than human eyes alone. So even it won't right miss any kind of there is a minute there is a details, right? It will take up all sort of details and it will give you the so the complete there is a overview of the disease and what is there is a mistake. So from this, right, you can not only right give so what is happened and also you can also give recommendations and also able to there is a predict and detect the disease as well. So what are the kind of there is a disease that is happened from the images, right? If you have there is breast or lung cancer or diabetic retinopathy and then cardiac conditions, what is the present conditions from based on this kind of there is a report. So all sort of there is a medical imaging analysis from the X-ray reports. So the machine learning there is a model does. So on pathology, analyze the high resolution tissue slides to identify the subtle patterns indicating to the diseases. So all kind of there is pathology reports, laboratory there is a reports can be given to the kind of there is systems. As a kind of there is a workflow. So just taking the laboratory reports, you no need to right print the reports and try to give it to the result people. Even now today, right? So most of the reports the doctors won't there is wait for the reports to be sent to them. So they read it from their WhatsApp and then they give a recommendation to the physician. The physician will do the needful. But what happens now today? It's a kind of this informal way of doing, right? So now with the help of this AI-based recommendation system, so whenever the lab technicians or the X-ray, there is a scanning, there is a person, right? So once they're done with the reports, it will automatically there is uploaded into this kind of there is ML model, and it will analyze and it will give the detailed report to the there is a doctor as well. And after that, right, the doctor will read such kind of there is a reports and he will make the final decisions. Again, the final decisions will be made by the doctors only, but the AI will help to there is read these reports and it will get the recommendations from other experts because so whoever there is a dealing with the particular there is a patient is going to be one there is a specialist there is person only. Even to take there is heart there is a to take admitted for any there's a heart, right? So only the cardiologist, right, will be there is a dealing, but something he wants to get a opinion from other doctors. So it's highly there is a difficult. So whenever that doctor they will it is there is happening in all the hospital. But now with help of these kind of the systems, right? Because all these stakeholders, which means all the specialist doctors, can able to read the reports, right? That is uploaded right in the systems, and they can give that there is recommendations and the physicians can able to take the decision quickly. It would be for whatever there may be a surgery, or maybe there is a treatment, or right, or maybe there are food, right? Anything, right? You have to take a decision and make it make the right point and make the treatment in the right way. So analyze the vast electronic health records to flag high-risk patients for a condition like sepsis, heart failure, or hospital readmissions. So before symptoms fully manifest, because if you consider the case, right? So one patient admitted in a hospital, and the hospital generate lot of there is a EHR, there is a report, right? And uh, in between, right, you want to right discharge the patient and you want to readmit to the there is the same patient to the different maybe the higher there is a facility, there is a hospital. So what happens, right? You have to there is wait for those kind of all the paperwork, and you have to get those kind of there is a paperwork, and then you have to bring this paper, all right, which means the reports to the right to the next hospital, and this doctor has to validate these reports. And so no hospital, right, will agree with the same reports. They have to take up another there is a set of reports, right? So it will actually delay in the there is diagnosis of patients, right? But when it comes to there is machine learning, this kind of there is network electronic there is health records will happen, right? So when you have this automatic there is a workflow, the patient history, all these informations will be immediately there is a share before the patient admitted to the next hospital, because so we can immediately right inform there is a next hospital, right? So that like the patient will be moving from this the hospital A to hospital B, right? The hospital B is well known about the patient's there is a status, right? As well as they can come up with the diagnosis, there is a procedure as well. Okay, so that's the way, right? We have to highlight the medical there is systems. We have to make the automated there is a workflow, right? And keep these informations ready and to keep the recommendations. The machine learning based there is a data predictions to be available to the there is a decisions there is a people. And core applications area. Next one is about the treatment and personalization. So the precision medicine. So AI analyzes the patient's genomic data, lifestyle, medical history, and environmental factors. It's not about the patient's there is correct the medical status, right? So it's all related or consequence uh, disease of his there is a previous illness or it's a previous there is a medical history. So how you give the personalized there is a treatment plan to this kind of there is a patients. So you need to have such kind of this informations, the genomic data, their lifestyle informations, all such medical history that should be stored in the centralized there is a data, so that this ML model can able to run these kind of the systems and keep ready with the personalized there is a treatment plan as well as doses to this plan, because there are a lot of allergic to this particular there is a patients, right? So definitely the new hospital don't know about those kind of informations, but so these informations are previously available as part of in a machine learning. There is a model, right? So these electronic health records, then we can easily able to there is predict and you can make a diagnosis in a very quickly. And another one, right? The very important is about drug discovery and then development, right? Because whenever the new disease come, right, there are several trial and error way of there is a drug discovery will happen. So we know it will have to pass with a lot of there is a test before that, right? Even we know that for the COVID there is a 19, right? The vaccine and the Covishield, these vaccinations. So it but through there is a lot of tests. That's why it is getting delayed, and there is a lot of death happen in other there is a countries. These medicines were available, but in India, right, when so there's it's getting delayed for this even for this 1 month or a 2 month, right? So before that, right? So there would be there is a lot of there is a delay. So how you adapt and then approve these kind of there is a medicine. So there is a lot of there is stringent there is procedures involved. But how you uh right make these kind of there is a stringent procedure, how you satisfy these stringent procedures, and how you make it in a very quicker manner. So for which, right, we have to rely on this medical machine learning. There is a model. This machine learning, there is a model. So equipped with there is high end, there is processing capabilities. We can do lot of trial and error. The kind of there is a testing with available. There is a data, right? So without the trial and error with animal as well as human, but with the help of the previous available, there is a data of there is patients, right? You can able to there is a predict so what will happen to these patients. So that's why, right, in a drug discovery as well as the development. So now the machine learning there is a model is there is very there is a crucial and can be used to shorten the there is a time of right the new drug there is a development. So previously it happens to something like there is a 4 to 5 years for the new drug. There are new medicines to be approved, right, by the there is government or by the authorities. Now, but with the help of this machine learning models as well as the high processing of the systems, we can be able to come up and you can be able to reduce the time to diagnosis as well to do kind of there is a trial design of the systems. And next one is about a robotic, there is a surgery. So even right, if you did agree, right? So there are a lot of there is hospitals already adapted the AI-based robotic system. It's not about complete replacement of there is the surgery doctor with robotics, but it's a kind of there is a partial. For example, right, making right there is a precision, there is a hole or something, right? So instead of there is a human, right? So these robotics will make the exact there is a precision 3D visualization of the there is a human body. So that will make more combat and then the surgery making that a more useful way of time, and also it will increase smaller incisions and faster recovery time for the there is a patients as well. Now most of the there is a surgery happen with the help of this robotic enrollment. On radiotherapy there is a plan. So optimize radiations, radiation dose, right? So if in order to there is a cure for a lot of there is a cancers and other disease, right? So the radiation therapy is now used. But to radiation therapy, how much to be used, how much radiation dose should be given, and how to target to maximize the tumor destructions, because the tumor there is a kind of there is a cancer, right? So if you want to uh, uh, eradicate the tumor, there is a disease and minimize its damage. So the radiation should be given. So it's all depends on the individual. There is a patients. It is given to the child as well as adult, to the senior citizens as well as right the senior people as well. So based on the previous the personalized right the history of the patients, right? So you can come up with a treatment. There is a plan as well as the radiation. There is a dosage to the individual. There is a patients. And the third one is about operational efficiency and there is a patient care. So now it's all about at a hospital, there is a network. How you manage the hospital network. It's not dealing with a diagnosis of the patients as the predicting disease, but this machine learning model, these slides will talk about all sort of automated workflow in the hospital environment as well. Because so we typically know how much time it takes for there is a billing and for discharging to the particular there is a patients, right? So if you have there is a streamlined there is a workflow, then it is very easy. You can right no need to there is worry about those things because it will be done. We have there is a proper there is insurance or mediclaim there is a policy, right? There is attached to the particular there is a patients, then you don't need to worry about anything about, right? So simply all the things will be there is a taken care, there is a billing, insurance verifications, data entry and freeing up there is a human staff without any human interventions. So all this there is a workload will be there is a happen. So appointment of patients, right? As well as providing medication reminders and now other as well as routine there is a symptom, there is a checks alerts. So there is some sort of notifications to given to these patients, reminders, right? Anything. So you can uh, come up with, right? So because of based on the previous there is informations, so these workflows can be there is an automated. This is not kind of exactly kind of there is a machine learning model, but the simple there is a computer science, right? There is a scripting as well as there is a programming, right? There is a full stack. You can able to complete the workflow, but within this workflow, you can use this machine learning. There is a model for better efficiency. Okay. And clinical workflow optimization, manage the hospital capacity because it's not about making the right automating the workflow, right? The current workflow, but we are talking about there is a future automations and efficiency of this automations as well. Suppose I want to recruit, there is a more people. Suppose I want to increase the number of beds. Suppose I want to have to procure the machines on what time, right? Suppose I want to procure the particular what do you call the medicines, right? So everything that should be done automatically, right? How because of the machine learning model, because we have the available there is a patient history information, how many patients are already there, and what is the predictions about the future patients, right? What is the past history, so everything. So when the appointment is given to this patient, so we have to relate all sort of data, and you can make the beautiful there is workflow optimization this. So the workflow optimization deals with hospital capacity and optimize the bed allocations and forecast the resource needs like staffing, equipments, medicines, and everything. Right? That will save the lot of there is a time right from the administrative that is the staff of the hospitals. Right? And remote patient monitoring. So with the help of we are talking about right, so smart watches, wearable, there is a sensors, right? So in futures, it's all going to be there is wearable sensors. So our health status will be monitored in a continuous there is a fashion. So which means because with a the very simple photo, there is a file, there is a wearable, non-invasive, there is a sensor, right? So it can able to completely because it's not about the previous, there is a history. And when you admit the hospital, then only right, you will realize there is what's happened to there is a body. But before also, right, we have to monitor and we have to uh, right analyze what are the critical there is a changes that happens in the there is a patients, right? So if you say there's clinicians to critical changes in a patient's vital signs, so something some vital signs happened right during the sleeping time, right? So the systems can automatically alert the physicians as well as the patients, right? So mostly for the elder there is a people, right? So these kind of there is a changes have happened during the there is a sleeping time, right? So those kind of there is a changes can be easily there is a monitor with the help of remote, there is a patient monitoring with a simple non-invasive, there is a sensor based monitoring environment that will right what you call the extract there is a lot of data. So these data again given to this machine learning model that will analyze right and give the data to the physician from the physician, right? Then they will take the enable the timely there is intervention successful. So that's why right the operation there is efficiency and this patient care is also there is increase. We will run through one more there is a video now.
நீங்க ஐடி கம்பெனிஸ்ல வேலைக்கு சேரலாம்னு இருக்கீங்களா? உங்களுக்கு ஷாக்கிங் நியூஸ் சொல்லணுமா? Microsoft, Google, Intel மாதிரியான top companies ஆயிரக்கணக்கான.
When we talk about AI in healthcare, I think we need to understand it as a foundational change in the toolkit we have available. In the same way, and I mean this profoundly, that algebra changed our understanding of the world and of math. In our field, the major changes are happening in diagnostic testing. How we can now interpret them more effectively and without as much expertise needed. We're like seeing the old patterns of care change into new ways of doing care.
The topic of how is AI going to be used is so interesting because these new machine learning sophisticated models, they aren't the end of the question, it's the beginning of the question.
AI is the future of healthcare, or so we've been told. But what does it mean? Is it coming for your job? Is it saving your life? What risks does it pose? And how does it have the potential to affect you?
Artificial intelligence has in some form been around for decades, but most people are just finding out about it because of things like ChatGPT, which have come into the mainstream. In healthcare, artificial intelligence has been around for years as well. It's helped doctors transcribe notes faster. It's helped with patient experiences with chatbots. But with generative AI, it's really supercharging what healthcare professionals and scientists are able to do by helping predict future health risks, make diagnoses faster and more accurately, and also helping with potential drug discovery for new novel treatments and therapeutics.
The AI boom really hit healthcare in the last 5 years. We've actually been able to transition into having the models or the tools we built to actually work with the data very effectively and have been able to define new ways to treat diseases, new ways to diagnose diseases, and finally find individualized signatures of how I as a patient or somebody else as a patient would do if they got a certain treatment or therapy.
The Gen AI boom is assisting doctors in more advanced ways, but both clinicians and patients are questioning the risks these new technologies may bring with them.
I think a lot of people are wondering, what's this going to look like when I go to the hospital, when I go to the doctor? How's it going to be used to inform decisions? What about errors, false positive, false negatives? Who's going to be responsible? There's a lot of questions around this that really begs the expertise of people in different areas. So we have agencies like the US Food and Drug Administration that does oversee certain uses of AI in healthcare. There are also groups like the American Medical Association and the National Academy of Medicine that do put out guidelines and codes of conduct for responsible use of AI. So right now there are experts and there are various groups that are trying to oversee this and make sure that it's used responsibly.
So there's this big tension about how AI will affect our workforce. Clinicians have the ability to interact with patients, understand their preferences. So I still feel they have a key role to play in interpreting the outputs that the AI technology gives them.
While the larger AI labs from Google to OpenAI are trying to disrupt the healthcare industry at large, there are smaller and more focused labs within academia dedicated to applying AI to specialities.
Well, we assessed how well the model performed looking at different views.
We're seeing an increasing investment in AI in healthcare. Since 2020, there has been a substantial increase in venture capital funding coming into this space. In 2024, we saw around $11 billion in funding going to various different AI and healthcare startups. Experts say that academics have different priorities than some of these AI startups. Academics can fine-tune large language models, and they may have a different incentive to develop ethics guidelines around their responsible use.
I think our biggest risk with AI is making sure we use it responsibly and consistently. We want people to pursue this creativity to the ends of the earth, but we also need clear processes in place to ensure that before they ever make it in front of a patient, they have been through a series of staged gates and reviews to ensure they are safe, effective, fair, and equitable.
Yale has invested $150 million towards AI development over the next 5 years. One of the ongoing efforts at Yale Medicine is the Cardiovascular Data Science Lab, founded by Dr. Rohan Kera in 2020.
So this is the Cardiovascular Science Lab, or the CARS Lab. It's not a single domain of AI that we work on. We work on
Diagnostics on precision care are defining therapies that work for individuals, work for cardiac imaging and other ways that we use to enable better care for patients. A good example is electrocardiograms, which are electrical recordings of the heart taken with stickers on the chest, available world over. ECG GPT, which is a play on ChatGPT, it takes an ECG image and generates a report. That is an example of generative AI. We can generate a full report directly from the electrocardiogram. Initially, this would require a cardiologist to interpret these studies, but our hope is that this can form the basis of very accurate reads that are available world over that eventually clinicians can confirm and use in their care. So we decided to focus on app-based solutions rather than things that integrate in large health systems so that these tools are truly accessible. Here we have a typical 12-lead ECG. And we know, me as a human reader, I can see these are the leads coming in from the chest. So me looking at this, I can never tell you this is a patient with heart failure just based on their ECG. What the AI eyeball is able to do is to kind of isolate these two leads and detect some signal that triggers that, yeah, this is someone with left ventricular systolic dysfunction and ejection fraction of less than 40%. And it visualizes it in a way that a human reader wouldn't be able to say.
While facilities like the Cards Lab are developing these new AI tools at a rapid pace, there are still many steps needed before these technologies can be implemented. To ensure the public well-being, regulators may wish to impose oversight and guardrails before AI becomes the new standard practice.
So again, we'll come back to this. There is a slide, right? So in that, right, they mentioned about how we responsibly use this. There is AI in the healthcare, so which is very important and also it's a challenging. There is a task, right, in adopting this AI in the healthcare because we are dealing with a human and we are dealing with the disease and we are dealing in a real time, right? So we can't. There is a simply right adapt suggestion given by there is a machine or those kind of there is a. So for which right we have to right make it more responsible. There is a so whatever the predictions or the suggestion recommendations given this machine learning there is a model should be more responsible. There is a way because it will impact the human life actually, right? So because it is going to be the decision there is a making there is a statement for the there is a physicians. So you have to be more there is a careful with while dealing with this there is a be more responsible with them. Okay. Yes, nobody having any questions? Yes. Okay, so this is about right the case study. So yes. Hello. So any questions? Okay, so I'll continue to say in lung cancer, there is a diagnosis, right? So lung cancer is one of the very dangerous. There is a cancer type, right? Because there is a diagnosis and then there is a queue is very there is a rare when it comes to there is a lung cancer. Even it is there is a spread very fastly and it will affect the patients and within there is a few days because it's going to be directly deal with there is a breathing. If the breathing stops for a while, right? So suddenly it lead to the death of the patient. So how you diagnose is very early. So early and accurate diagnosis is very critical for a better patient outcomes here. So subtle there is a nodules which is comes in something called there are some substance so that will be formed right in there is a lungs. So you have to identify those kind of the substances and you have to identify whether it is there is a lung cancer or there is a no. Okay. So the human radiologist with the help of the there is a lot of reports, right? There is a currently there is a dealing with that, but so with the help of this AI based there is systems accurately able to predict this kind of there is a cancer case. So high value of CT scan and it is very difficult in distinguishing the benign from the malignant. There isn't. So there are some good, right? There is a CT scan report and there is something like the damaged or the affected. There is a lung. There is a disease. Noodles. So the noodles is something like right. So the affected, there is an area, but it is a kind of fungus that is developed in the part of your lung cancer. So the variability in radiologist experience and fatigue. So it is identified by the help of there is experience, there is a radiology. But that experience can be converted with the help of this machine learning the model. Machine learning is a lot of medicine noise.
Sir, அவரை mute பண்ண சொல்றேன்.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1 minute.
Always, sir, you can mute.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Yes, sir. So, promising there is AI-based models, the CNN models, which is trained with a very vast, there is a database of lung cancers, which can automatically detect these lung nodules, as well as it will categorize nodules. So what is based on size, shape, texture, growth rate, right? To assess the malignity, and also it will track changes over time. Because this is there is experience of the radiologist having, right? Based on the report, right? He can, based on the size, shape, and the texture, because these are all the input, there is a parameter they can see through this, there is a report. They can come up with the decisions. So what level of the lung cancer it is and what it is affected, right? So those kind of informations are very clearly visible with the help of this characterized information like size, shape, texture, and growth rate. And say there's this increased accuracy. The accuracy of this kind of, there is a systems, AI-based systems, which is comparable or superior accuracy to human radiologists. So what are the predictions or the recommendations done by the human radiologists, right? These AI systems can able to predict superior than the human radiologist. So some studies show a reduction in false negatives by up to there is 11%. So there are some false negatives when it comes to this AI-based systems, but where it is properly there is a trend. So we can see the reductions of this machine learning false negative values as well. And also reduce the retimers. Say can analyze the CT scan in seconds. That will significantly reduce the time radiologists spend on a initial screening, their waiting time, allowing them to focus on the complex the result cases, right? So instead of there is waiting for the radiologist, the persons to come and then do some sort of there is a scanning. Probably in an hour he may take 3 to there is a 4 scans. But if you have a good, there is a machine learning model. But if you feed your reports, all sort of your right, the CT scan report, it will give you the analyst information, the predictions, right? So automatically it will tell you what is there is a stage within there is a seconds. So that's why, right, we can reduce a lot of time and it will improve the efficiency and the diagnosis of the patients. So it will reduce the need of the unnecessary follow-up the scans or the biopsies for benign nodules, and also saving the cost as well as the patient anxiety. So early interventions leads to early diagnosis and better treatment planning as well as improved patient survival rate as well. So we talk about how the machine learning is used in hospital network and what is there is market size of this, right? The globally in the healthcare domain is expected around its US of $29 to $32 billion in the year 2024, and it's grows exponentially actually. So there are more, there is investment happens, there are more AI-based, there is a platform, startup companies, new workflow-based, automated AI-based platforms are now coming up, and even the hospital networks are not only the hospital network, the patients and the insurance, there is a companies, government regularities, and all sort of, right? So hospital, right, ecosystems are now rely upon the AI, there is the models heavily. the rapid growth. So the growth is also kind of the CAGR growth rate is about 38 to there is 44%, which is very, very high. So which reach over 431 billion by the year 2032. So 431 billion is such a, there is a huge money invested in, right, adapting the AI model into the there is healthcare domain. So by the year that is another there is a 10 to there is 15 years, right? So most of the reports will be generated. So after the generation is going to be there is a AI model. So all the basic preliminary diagnostics and recommendations will be given by the AI based there is systems only. And with the help of these reports, then the further the physicians, the doctors will make their final decision and they will go with the there is a diagnosis and the dealing with the patients. And diagnosis and early detections is dominant application. There is a area when it comes to the ML model, and it will save the time and it will save the there is a patient's life as well. Okay. So adoption rate. So 42% of the healthcare organization, the European Union, already use AI for disease diagnosis. And 72% of healthcare organization are anticipated to use AI for patient monitoring by the end of 2024. So usually now all the kind of there is a patient monitoring system. Even if you enter to the hospital, most of the hospitals will do the registrations, which means they want to capture the patient information, the patient there is history details. So if you readmit into the hospital, revisit the hospitals again, right? So there is no need to tell anything, just give, for example, the mobile number or maybe the patient ID. So the help of the patient ID, they can able to derive all such, there is a previous, there is history data as well, right? So with the available, there is a data, right? One sort of, there is a patient, there is a past history, as well as it's a present, right? There is a status, the health status, and you can able to just continuously monitor with the help of some sort of, there is a variable, there is a sensor, right? So we can diagnosis very fast and take decision very immediately. You can cure the disease in a very faster way, and you can also able to predict the future disease that may arise in the human body that may happen to the there is a person's system. And there is a key benefits, right? When it comes to all aspects, right? When it comes to this accuracy of the predictions, the higher diagnosis, there is a precisions. We have the reduced this human errors, and you have the more the subtle anomalies that has happened to the systems, and the speed, right? The speed of the decision making, right? It is going to be, right? It's very, there is fast. We have the fast analysis and decision making, which is very, very crucial in the hospital environment that may happens very immediately when it comes to adapting the patient environment. And the next one is about the personalization, the tailored treatment. There is a plan for individual, there is a patients, and cost reductions. So because of, right, vast data, right, and also coming with the less reports in order to what you call the diagnosis the reports again and again, right? So with the help of the already available data and with the similar reports that are available with the similar there is a patient's informations, right? So we can come up with, right, the decision very quickly. So that will reduce the time. And when it comes to there is automated, there is a workflow, right? So we can actually reduce the cost of the there is a surgery of as well as the diagnosis and then medicines of the patients. And accessibility. So the accessibility is also, right, when it comes to if we make it as more AI based, there is a model, it can be accessible to all such there is a networks, also there is hospitals as well. And what are the there is challenges? We talk about there is a lot of challenges when you adapting this kind of there is machine learning model, right? So there are some of course adapting any technology as well, right? So we have to face there is a lot of there is a challenges. So what about the quality of the data as well as the accessibility of the data? And the high quality as well as standardized data is required to train the model in an effective manner, right? So how to deal with it? So you should not there is a feed the machine learning model with the false data as well as very poor data as well as non-standardized low quality data, right? So how we capture the data that should be standardized, right? Otherwise, so there is a lot of data it feed into the systems that will give there is poor diagnosis of the patients as well as the privacy and security, because you are dealing with the patient's records, should have more secure as well as should have the privacy as well as privacy of the patients as well. So how we'll have this kind of the patient information in a more secure and privacy way. And that's why, right, there are other technologies like a federated learning is one of the machine learning. It's a distributed machine learning approach, which will secure the data within the hospital. There is a privacy itself, right? So that's the way the technology is also there is a we have edge computing, right, as well as the federated learning concepts. So that will keep the data in the hospital network, whereas the machine learning models, right, or the instance of the machine learning models keep running in the uh, uh, hospital environment. And ethical and bias concerns. So this is about, right, we talk about responsible legal, right? So the AI should be more responsible in the way, right? So how it make more dealing with more demographic, there is groups of the there is a patients as well, right? So you have to come up with the more standards, more practices, more guidelines to this AI the systems, so that they should not mishandle the data of the patients. And for which, right, you have to come up with the more regularity as well as accountability to the AI-driven the systems. Because any persons who can get to the AI-based systems can able to steal this data. So for which, right, so we have to come up with the more regulatory there is a practices, because they say this machine learning models typically it runs in the cloud environment only. So if it is a cloud environment, you have to put up all your data into some sort of on-premise, right, which means in a centralized network or something. So if you move your records some other there is a place, so there is a possibility of attacks, right? So the cyber security comes in place. So we have to come with more regulations, because the data is something like huge, and as well as is highly sensitive. It is deals with the individual. There is a patient's records. It's highly very sensitive. It is secure as well. There is a privacy and clinical integration with the trust. So you have to come up with, you have to adapt that there is a trust and acceptance of the there is a patient system. So this machine learning models has to be evolved and should be matured in that way, right? It should be trusted and should be accepted by the hospital environment, the physicians, the doctors, as well as the patients as well. Because sometimes the machine learning models, right, the people or the patients won't accept it. They will, right? So they say that, right, these kind of there is a systems, even when the internet comes or anything, there is any technology comes, right? The people will hesitate, right? So you have to uh, justify them with there is a with the proper there is diagnosis, there is a methods as well. The future, right? So you have to come up with explainable, there is a and come up with the more ethical as well as regulatory. There is a standards that comes in, there is a place. Have to, but with the help of there is a in medicines, you can come up with a more proactive as well as preventing and predicting there is a medicine, right? So you have more preventing and you can stop it at a more in a preventing and more prior possibilities with. And there is a predictive health. So there is what about there is a brings, right? So have more there is a prevention, right? So you can come up with a more predictive there is health of the there is a patients. So what happens to the there is a patients probably after 5 years or the 10 years with his current or there is a body status, it current there is a food system it is taking about, current is medical reports, current the wearable, there is a sensor, there is a status, right? With the help of all this wearable and smart devices and analyze with this AI, right? So we can come up with the AI based there is prediction systems. And there is a something called generative AI. Generative AI is also used, right? Probably in the drug trials, because you don't have the real there is a patients to test your drug design. So for which cases, right, you have to come up with more synthetic, right? There is a data, patient data. So how you generate such kind of there is synthetic patient data? So for which, right, the generative AI is used. The help of generative AI, right, we can be able to generate huge amounts of there is a patient synthetic data, and you can be able to come up with more trial and error, and you can pass there is a test results as well. Finally, it can be tested with the real there is a patient's as well. That's why the AI models used. And now it comes with something like a agentic AI as well. Right? So agentic AI is now is about the entire there is a workflow, right? This can be automated with the help of this agentic AI. So with the help of this agentic AI, automated there is workflow of the hospital enrollment, disease diagnosis, analysis of the patient history, predicting this AI, predicting the health status of the patients, as well as monitoring the continuous there is a monitoring of the patients. Everything can be integrated with the help of this agentic AI. There is a workflow. So with the help of this administrative tasks, we talk about it. So all kind of there is a workflow can be automated with the help of NLP. You can take this prescriptions of the doctor and can able to summarize those kind of there is reports. So the doctor there is a just there is a speaking and writing these prescriptions, right? We can automatically generate these clinical notes and referral letters and after visit summaries, everything. So without any right, there is a delay, there is a timing, right? You can able to generate such kind of there is summary reports of the patient's results. And AI helps to automate the billing and insurance claims processings that will save the time of the patients as well as it will give the revenue to the patients, banking, insurance, regulatory bodies as well as to the governments. And hospital resource optimization, the equipments, medicines, there is a people, everything we can able to optimize with the help of there is a system system. And I would like to go through some of the AI, there is a platforms which are used in healthcare, there is a domains. So this is one of the Solid.ai. It is a superhuman team of AI employees for there is healthcare. So you have a consultant, a medical coder. So the patient engagements is just growing and our medications is ordered and charts it's prepared. So with the help of so there are various there is a platform here. Seamless integrations, Libic and leading electronic there is healthcare, Athena Health, Oracle Health, Charm Health. So there are many other there is a platforms with integrated and the payment informations. Everything is integrated through this. There is a platforms. The accuracy and diagnosis, the treatment, it's all getting improved with the help of there is kind of there is systems. So it's a complete EMR, the interoperability and always learning and then improving. So which is used in the healthcare input. This is HeyDocs is a leading healthcare. There is a platforms. Fully automated 24 hours on monitoring analyze the data. So entire the workflow is automated. So follow up on because all the medical history informations are putting into the systems. One industry is about IBM. So IBM, there is a solutions for any technology as well as for any domain. So it's also dealing with the healthcare. So IBM Watson is one of the very famous. There is a platform, and IBM agents to automate the customer service and streamline the claims processing and accelerate the new product development and optimize the supply chains. It integrates all sort of there is a supply chain management skills. And the solutions. So these are the case studies. Pfizer, the right, so ensuring vital medicines when reaching the patients as quickly as possible, the hybrid cloud IT architectures. Pfizer is one of the very famous, there is medicines which is used in the COVID times. So lot of there is university, hospitals, environment already adapted IBM healthcare, there is the solutions. Along with, right, because when it comes to there is all kind of there is a trial and error design. We require more, there is a faster, there is the solutions with a lot of there is a heuristic solutions as well. So IBM along with the quantum based healthcare solutions, right? So towards a quantum enabled biotechnology, there is a pipeline. I will deal with drug designs, gene analysis, as well as the faster drug discovery as well. So there are several, there is a case studies. So how do you make it as a more responsible in the healthcare domains as well as the life science industries? And there are more, there is a challenges as well, right? How you make it as a more responsible how you automate and how you come up with the trust and then secure data of these patients as well. I think for come to the end of the discussions. So I'm inviting the participants. If you have any, there is a queries and doubts and interactions, then we can do it right now.
Yes. Participants, any queries, doubts, you can put it in the chat box also. That's all.
Yes.
Any queries, please? No queries? Okay, Professor. So thank you so much on behalf of management, director academics, dean research, principal, faculty members, organizing committee, and on behalf of all participants, I would like to extend our sincere thanks to our esteemed resource person, Dr. K. Saravanan from Anna University. The knowledge and insights, sir, you have shared with us have been invaluable. We are truly grateful for your time and for the dedication you showed in explaining complex topics like key benefits of AI in healthcare and also case studies in lung cancer diagnosis. Your expert guidance has enriched our understanding and will surely assist us in our research and professional career. Thank you, sir, for making this Atal online FPP today in a grand success manner. Once again, I thank you, sir, for accepting my invitation and coming over here and making the session in a very wonderful way. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a
Thank you,
lot.
sir. Thank you. So the next session will be session 6. Topic is AI in pathology. The expert is Mr. Muralidharan, Divisional Head, VRA Healthcare, Chennai. Sir is having 17 years of industry experience. On behalf of our management, Director Academics, Dean Research, Principal, faculty members, organizing committee, and on behalf of all participants, I welcome you, sir.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Sir, I will, sir, 1 minute. I would like to give a small introduction about you. Mr. K. Muralidharan is the divisional head of VRA Healthcare and director of Allied Lab with over 17 years of experience in sales and service within the medical instrument sector. particularly in vitro diagnostics and nuclear medicine across southern India. A graduate in electronics and communication engineering from National Engineering College, Kovilpatti, Tamil Nadu. Mr. Muralidharan began his career as a service engineer before transitioning into sales. His career spans roles across multiple multinational corporations in healthcare, demonstrating consistent growth and leadership at each stage. To add more about Mr. Muralidharan, he began his career at Anand Brothers as a service engineer in 2011, worked with Trivitron Healthcare as an area manager in Chennai, advancing through multiple roles across different verticals from 2019 to 2022, joined Thermo Fisher Scientific as a zonal manager, Southern India, gaining extensive experience managing teams and regional operations. Mr. Muralidharan founded VRA Healthcare in the year 2022, focusing on histopathology and digital pathology. The company is committed to healthcare innovation, particularly in cancer prevention for women and children through early screening initiatives. Under his leadership, the company has also entered into laboratory chemical manufacturing for research applications and expanded its presence through Allied Labs, a clinical laboratory network across Tamil Nadu like Perambur, Trichy, Tanjavur, Perudurai, and Tirupattur. These expansions reflect a strong commitment to community trust and healthcare accessibility. Mr. Muralidharan is the deep expertise in diagnostics, healthcare, sales, and operations, proven leadership and business development skill in both corporate and entrepreneur context, passion for healthcare innovation, focused on social benefits and cancer prevention. Sir, very exciting to give this profile summary of yours. Really, we are gifted. So I welcome once again Dr. K. Muralidharan to take over the session. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Raja, for the brief introduction for us.
Thank you, sir.
So, can you able to share the sharing to turn on from your side?
Yeah, one minute. So we will be giving share option to you. So you yourself can share the PPTs. So it will be
no. The sharing option is been not allowed by the.
Yeah,
can you able
yeah, I will give you sharing option. Correct. Kindly wait for one.
Hi everyone. I think I will take the session in a different way to understand more about the diagnostic segment. It should be a more interactive session rather than we are not from the teaching segment. Actually, we are from an industrial segment. So we will take this chapter in a very interactive way, and you can understand how we can develop our own AI platform in diagnostic segment and how it will be give us proper solution for the end customers like patients.
So now you are given a sharing option.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can show the full slide.
Right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Basically, I'm a electronics engineer. I started my career way before 18 years before to come for only for the diagnostic industry. So my love for this profession starts more than 20 years when I had my engineering profession. So I have my biomedical as an elective paper. So I prefer to choose for the diagnostic industry. So coming for the pathology, I hope everyone will know about pathology because it's a very basic thing for the diagnostic segment. Pathology is nothing but to have involving a microscopic examination for tissues and cells to identify the disease